Good afternoon. My name is Kyle McCall. I am presenting to you today on behalf of Professor Laurie Gay Reagan with Aspen University. And today I'm presenting on problem-based research and action, particularly using action research, or AR, if you will. There was once a gentleman named Albert Zent Georgi who said that research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. I think that pretty much illustrates why we do research. In our introduction to action research, there are three activities, primarily the look, think, and act phases. Action research, or AR, is a collaborative study approach using a simple yet powerful framework. And that's cited by Stringer in 2014. The look phase requires us to gather the necessary data to define and describe the situation, issue, problem, or maybe opportunity. The think phase helps to answer the question, what do we think is going on here? Maybe what should be going on here, and perhaps what we want to be going on here. So much analysis takes place in this stage of the study. And then we have the act phase, which guides us to put together a course of action based on our analysis of the issue, implementation of a well-designed plan, and evaluating or assessing the effectiveness of the actions that we chose to take. So what I want to go through today in this content for you is introduction to action research, a problem or opportunity, goals to accomplish using AR, who will be needed or who will be involved, primary obstacles that we may run up against, and how we might circumvent those. And also the appropriate solution or intervention, implementation of a described plan in detail, and then I'll go about summarizing for you what we have gone through today. So information technology can be a blessing or a curse, and I really zeroed in on that when Nicole Robinson, one of my classmates and colleagues, brought that up in one of our sessions. And our global economy and business interests have generated the continuing need for updates in technology. We know that technology changes almost on a daily basis with programs, with platforms, and uses. So the use of technology, efficiency versus combining of activities, what's more appropriate, organizations and their IT infrastructures, leadership and how they're involved, technology changes, and sometimes the misuse of technology. Organizations over the past couple of decades have really named at their C-level a chief information officer who guides and directs the IS&T technology groups. And in the three global organizations that I have now been in, information technology can be used wisely as a blessing, as we said, or efforts can be wasted, which makes it a curse or a hindrance to what we're trying to accomplish for our client base. Technology is meant to improve efficiency, reduce time by reducing costs, and improving the business as we know it. And one of the things about the goals to accomplish that I see is identifying issues completely for current IT infrastructure. This is something that organizations sometimes fail at doing very well. So are the technology platforms and programs delivering what they're intended to deliver to the organization? Are the current versions kept up to date? Reviewing that existing technology, asking about related issues that could arise. How soon is the current technology going to go through another change or iteration or version control? The impact on current systems and corrupt programs can be a big hindrance over time. Are there underlying issues in IT infrastructure? Is it autonomous, independent, self-protective? The humane, modesty, compassionate, human-oriented side of it? Are there underlying issues? And executive sponsorship is vital to the success of the action research study. And when we think in terms of who needs to be involved, we have a lot of groups: IT, leadership, technology, order procurement, front-end, back-end users, users of the technology systems, and even, as we said, external users who could be our clients. So involving all stakeholders is important to conducting action research. The IS&T leadership team must be involved to highlight our strategic objectives with technology. Does our organization's strategic objective match what we're prone or bound to deliver for our client base? Principal users of business technology are finance, vendor management, payroll, employee health and safety, building management systems, technology, and many, many, many others. So that's why technology is so important to stay on top of. And we have those on the back end of technology, such as accounts receivable, accounts payable, contract management, and even CRM, which is client relationships management. We have several external organizations who rely on our technology to create efficient interactions with our organization, sometimes subcontractors, sometimes our legal department, and others. And when we think about some primary obstacles and contingencies, technology can facilitate or it can inhibit us. What I mean by that, we must determine what is vital, the must-have, what is desired, nice to have, versus what can we live without. Technology and programs can be a huge expense. International considerations. We deliver services in my organization to 86 countries around the planet. So there are a lot of language and cultural differences that must be considered in the technology. Favoritism and recommendations. Sometimes programs and platforms are driven by clients, by contractors, by people within our own organization. And we must reinforce our governance for program management to ensure equity, standardization, sustainability, again, which is keeping up with changes in technology, and between countries. And the way we do that currently, what I would involve is our regional leadership committee for IS&T globally. We have IS&T leaders around the country or world who get themselves involved in what we're doing with IS&T management. So finding the appropriate solution or intervention takes it's profound and it's strong, but it still takes work when we think in terms of the look, think, act, and we define the issue completely. We're asking, what do we know about the issue? What additional information is needed or helpful? So we'll utilize the look, think, act model by Stringer to plan a comprehensive action research study of the technology needs. Requirements and effectiveness of the IS&T International program are important. The Look, Think, and Act AR study works in an iterative manner, as Stringer said. Some cycles will need to be repeated as often as possible, and until we're certain that we have it right. It can get confusing considering what is included in each phase of Think, Look, and Act. Therefore, we all know that constant review is necessary. Then we need to think in terms of a plan for implementation, determining what that vision for the study is. Someone has to begin by first identifying or determining if there is a problem or issue or an opportunity and how they are to justify the study. Establishing the vision, mission, and value for the study and presenting it to your executive sponsors is very important. Forming a stakeholder group for problem identification. The initial stakeholders are needed to articulate the issue, problem, or opportunity, and therefore must have intimate knowledge of what's being looked at or proposed for study. So a participatory action research approach can increase the understanding of contextual issues, ensuring realistic interventions. And that was said by Sindall in 2018. You've got to understand fully what you're going after and understand what the outcome could be. A professional leadership and action research training module mentioned by Plar and Stenopoulos in 2015 was developed and is encouraged. Train the people on what action research is so you have a good grasp of what we're doing at every phase of the research. And determine an appropriate timeline for completion. Will that timeline always be correct? No, it won't. But as we stumble onto new things, we may have some change control issues that we need to take care of. So governance is important to monitor actions, results, and meeting the requirements of the study. Then we also need to ask at all points if the desired outcomes have or are being met. Now, in summary, I'd like to talk a little bit again about the look, think, and act. Is this an issue, problem, or opportunity? How do we analyze it? How do we theorize? How do we proactively go after it? And determination of the best course of action. In action research, as we said, it's a collaborative approach using a simple yet powerful framework. The look phase requires that gathering of data that's necessary completely to define and describe the situation, issue, problem, or the opportunity. The think phase helps us to answer the question, what do we think is going on here? Why is this happening? And how can we fix it? What can we do to correct? And the act phase guides us to put together a course of action based on our analysis of the issue, implementation of a well-designed plan, and evaluating and assessing how well the plan has worked for us. And again, in putting this presentation together, I utilize M.H. Buchholz from 2020, M.M. Sindel from 2018 to talk about participatory action research, Stamopoulos, who took the lead in training on action research, and Stringer, of course, with the action research in the 4th edition. So with that, I'd also again like to recognize Nicole Robinson, my classmate and colleague, for bringing up the idea of IT technology can be a blessing or it can be a curse, and is something that definitely needs to be looked into. With that, I want to thank you all for your time today. Thank you and God bless.